Everyone looks forward to having a relationship that is blissful, sweet, and romantic without the hitches that are common in relationships today. More importantly, God wants us to enjoy a wonderful relationship with our spouses and partners just as we do with Him. It goes without saying that for anything to work, it has to be worked upon. Remember the saying, "As you lay your bed, so you shall lie on it." This applies to every area of our lives, including relationships, whether platonic or romantic. In essence, if you want a promising relationship full of peace, joy, and happiness, there is a role you must play to make it work. Let's digress a little bit at this point to understand the concept of making a relationship bliss. Think about your favorite food and how well you savor the taste, the aroma, the accompanying drink that makes it perfect, and in the right environment, either with a movie, just music, or maybe you prefer silence or eating with loved ones. Now, imagining it would not automatically produce the food. If you wanted to eat it, then there are processes and practical steps that you must follow. First is your recipe for the food, and we know that different people have different recipes for a particular kind of meal. You choose whichever recipe you desire. The same thing works for relationships. No two relationships are the same, as what works for one might not work for another. You have to figure out what works for you and stick to it. Now back to cooking. As much as there are different recipes for cooking, there are certain ingredients that must not be left out for you to achieve the delicacy that you have envisioned. In the same way, many ingredients come together to make a blissful relationship. You must have individual ways of spicing things up and have different methods of keeping a relationship happy, but if these are missing in any relationship, you might as well be headed for the rocks and a sour relationship full of expectations that are never met and one that you have to endure. So whether you are in a relationship already or are about to go into one, certain reasons or signals will determine the success of your relationship or otherwise. We will be looking at 6 reasons your relationship with that person will be a sweet one. God is the foundation of that relationship. The phrase, "put God first in all things," is becoming more of a cliche, as we find that only a few people ever make God a priority in their lives. We can call on God when in need of something important or find ourselves in one trouble or the other, but when it comes to issues of romance and love, we let our hearts and emotions lead us on. This should not be the case for a believer. God should be the foundation of everything in your life, and especially your relationship. He is the major ingredient that makes things work, and the Bible asks a very pivotal question that requires pondering in Psalm 11, verse 3. If the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? Without a solid foundation, every other thing you build on it, no matter the beauty or how much effort is expended, will be a waste because it will end up crumbling. So, before you put all your energy into impressing your partner with gifts, attention, and services, you might want to check the basis and the foundation of your relationship. Is it built on love? Not just the love people confess these days, which is based on ephemeral things, but the love of God. Do you both have a basic understanding of God and His love for mankind? 1 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 11 says, "For no other foundation can anyone lay than that which is laid, which is Jesus Christ." Can you imagine wanting to bake cookies or make a cake without flour? Suppose you have the sugar, salt, baking powder, butter, and every other thing you need, but the flour is missing. When all these ingredients are mixed, what you have at the end of the day will not be the mixture that is expected to become a cake after baking. When God is the foundation of your relationship, you can begin to build every other thing to achieve a successful relationship. This is the first and most important factor for a blissful relationship. You love each other. Gone are the days when people are forced to marry each other without prior meeting or knowledge of their partners. For you to have a functional and blissful relationship, there must be love in that relationship. This is because a relationship that is not built on love will become a relationship that is endured, rather than enjoyed. Love, along with the romance that comes with it, are a part of what spices up a relationship. Without it, things might be sour, and when things go sour as expected, you might see no reason to fight for your relationship. You both trust each other. Trust is another very important ingredient needed for the success of any relationship. Without it, both partners will be full of doubts, fear, unrest, etc., which may result in a toxic and unhealthy relationship. Nobody wants a relationship where they will have to look over their shoulders every minute or have their partner watch and monitor their every movement, not out of concern, but for lack of trust. It can become a big cause of concern and result in psychological problems. Admittedly, many have become broken and have trust issues due to previous experiences that left them shattered and broken. Yet, there must be space for healing if such a person ever has hope of being in a great relationship again. You see, without trust, you would always be second-guessing your partner's actions and motives, reading meaning into every word, checking to see who they are with, where they have been, and if what they say matches what they do. This may result in jealousy, harassment, and unnecessary embarrassments. If you want to have bliss in your relationship, there must be trust on both sides. After laying the foundation of your relationship on Christ, you both need to trust each other completely and without reservations, and this is usually possible in an environment where there is open and honest communication, which is the next ingredient we will be considering. Open and honest communication. Communication is the lifeblood of any relationship. Communication does not just mean talking to each other, as you can talk all day to your partner without communicating. It means expressing your minds to each other, talking about the things that matter, settling disputes without fighting, and reaching agreements after hearing each other out. Most times, we want to have someone with which we can share our day, talk about our dreams, fears, and achievements. As much as we have friends who give us their time and attention, there is the place of having that special someone who is committed to your well-being and looks forward to hearing from you. For many people, talking to their partners is the best part of their day and always look forward to doing so. It makes for a better relationship when you are both open, free, and honest in your communications. You are not scared of being judged, condemned, or criticized for your opinions. When there is open and honest communication, the issue of trust does not become a problem. You most likely have answers to every question that might raise a doubt in your heart, and there are no second-guessing the other person's actions and motives when you can easily ask them about it. This allows for a wonderful atmosphere where love can grow and thrive. There is no comparison. The Bible tells us that comparing ourselves to others is a foolish thing to do. As much as we want to learn from others, aspire to be like them, admire certain things in them, and would want to model our lives or relationship after theirs, we should realize, as stated earlier, that every individual is unique, so is every relationship. While cooking, you don't want to mix up the bile with the whole meat, otherwise you would end up with a bitter meat, no matter the other ingredients that you have added. And so there is a need to do away with certain things if you want to have a great relationship. When you don't compare your partner with the next person or perhaps your ex, but instead help them as individuals, recognizing their strengths and weaknesses, and help them grow, you will have a great relationship. When you make each other happy. Sometimes, it is the little things that we ignore that are important. Imagine waking up to breakfast in bed, getting flowers or love notes from your loved ones, doing the dishes when they are tired, or suddenly showing up at their workplace during lunch to take them out. The list goes on and takes different forms. Being spontaneous and thinking outside the box once in a while can be very good for your relationship. It reignites the spark and makes things sizzle in your relationship with that person. All in all, one reason your relationship will be better is that you complement each other and are both ready to make sacrifices to the end.